Hello everybody, it's Weebru here with mLBC. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host Kalvin for the Devolved Election stream. How you doing, Kalvin?
I'm alright, thank you very much. Weebru, I'm looking forward to this election.
It's going to be an exciting one. Now, first of all, just to address the elephant in the room, it's a miracle that we're in the same room, considering the party alignments that we're in, crossing the aisle, shaking hands after nitty gritty politics outside.
I fucking hate you.
Oh, but hey, they'll put that aside for tonight. That doesn't matter. We're here for the devolved elections, and first of all, we've got amazing guests coming up. We've got exit polls, and then we've got our results coming from Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Now, Kalvin,
are you certain that you've got the most updated slideshow up?
I hope so. Is there?
Because it doesn't have the third member of the team on it.
It should. No, there we go. Solved. We're fine. Good start. So yes, Kalvin, let's get a little preview of what's to come. Set the scene for us for a couple of the country's elections tonight.
So today we'll be looking at elections for the Northern Irish Assembly, for the Welsh Senedd Parliament. Over the last few days, we've obviously seen intense campaigning from all parties across the spectrum, nationalists and unionists alike, as various parties vie for power and jockey to attempt to get themselves either back into office or secure themselves new positions. In Northern Ireland, there's expected to be a hot contest between the Ulster Workers' Party, Sinn Féin, and the Social Democratic and Labour Party. In Scotland, there is expected to be an extremely tight race between the Welsh Liberal Democrats, the Scottish Liberal Democrats, and New Britain. And finally, in Wales, it's expected to again be a tight race between the Welsh Liberal Democrats and the Welsh Labour Party, also known as Sleffer.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, you're saying there about Scotland first of all. I mean, that's the only one that I'm fully familiar with, so we'll start with that. It blows my mind that you would even say those words, that it's a tight race between New Britain and Scottish Liberal Democrats, because, you know, years ago, you would never see those parties vying for government. It's crazy how times have changed. And what we'll do now is perhaps we'll show some exit polls. Are we ready to bring any guests in, or do you want to just bring in the exit polls? What are we doing here? If Kalvin remembers that he's on push to talk. We'll have a look at some exit polls. Now, remind me, what exit poll is first? Do you know? Let's have a look here. Stormont. And here's our first exit poll. I believe these were all collated by Aina. Thanks to Aina and the team for working on this. So this is our first exit poll. Kalvin, let us know when you're back. I'm on my own here. We've got the who have we got here? Sinn Féin 21. We've got the SDLP on 23. Do you know? Trying to remember these logos is difficult. That's the Unionist Workers' Party on 31, and the rest there you can see. We've also got some amazing overhead helicopter cameras brought to you. Thank you, Merrily, for sorting these out. Let's have a look here at Stormont. Oh, fancy technology. Oh, look at that.
Because my Wi-Fi is run by two gerbils in a hamster ball, I'm having to connect to my personal hotspot on my iPhone.
Oh dear.
Yes, I think it would be a good idea to bring in the exit polls, and we can also bring in the person who made these exit polls for us, who gathered the data, crunched the numbers, and came up with what they believe is the most likely outcome of this election.
Yeah, give us a guest. I've got the Stormont exit poll on here. We just had live scenes from Stormont. Thank you, Merrily, for that.
Well, I dragged them down and they immediately left, so that's an excellent start.
Yeah, look at the woes and the oohs in the chat for the fancy Merrily. Shout out to Merrily. Talk us through this exit poll first of all with Stormont.
So the exit poll that we've got for the Stormont Assembly puts the Ulster Workers' Party, previously on 20 seats, now on 31. In second place, the Social Democratic and Labour Party, originally on 18, having merged with the Labour Party of Northern Ireland, on 23, up 5 seats, and taking the position of Deputy First Minister from Sinn Féin, previously in first place, who are predicted to lose 13 seats and drop down to third place. Then the Ulster Unionist Party, led by controversial former Free Presbyterian minister Firik 2222. Is expected to lose 4 seats at this election. Obviously, the Ulster Unionist Party has had some trouble this term, especially with regards to coalition splitting away from them. So they're expected to drop 4 seats to 8, falling out of being able to join the executive. Then Coalition, the splitters, and smallest unionist party. Finally, we have Alliance and the People Before Profit on 2 and 1 seats respectively.
Oh, I'm getting shit in Maine for saying Aina instead of Ina. You said it was Aina before the stream. I blame Kalvin.
I say Aina.
Alright, thank you for that. Let's jump on to our next exit poll, which is Holyrood. Now, here we go, I'm in my wheelhouse now. Scottish Liberal Democrats predicted 40 seats, New Britain 38, SNP 23, that's the Scottish Progressives at 18 and Scottish Tories at 10. Oh my goodness, that's a total collapse of the Scottish Conservatives vote. Think about all the hard graft from the likes of Dunks, the likes of Tommy Boys to put the Tories back into government, and it's all gone. Kalvin.
Yeah, and it's gone. The Scottish Tories are predicted to not have a particularly fun night tonight. It has perhaps been a job in the making. Obviously, they've suffered issues with leadership changes, and as well just an increasingly active Scottish Parliament. So there is quite a heavy implication that the Scottish Tories are going to be, I think, would be proverbially kicked whilst they're down. But it's not to say that this is so much the death of sort of centre-right unionism. Obviously, we will still have New Britain, who are expected to make a strong showing.
Yeah, I mean, New Britain, just constant grind from people who have already been used to grinding in Holyrood, in the chambers, the likes of Tommy, and now Damien, Count Brandenburg. And our last exit poll before we get some results will be the Senedd. And here we are with Welsh Labour 19, Welsh Liberal Democrats 16, Plaid on 11, what's the Welsh version of the People's Workers' Party called?
The Welsh Workers' Party.
Well, that's nice and simple, on 8, and the Welsh Conservatives on 6. So this one a little bit more of a tighter race when it comes to seats and possible coalition makeups, Kalvin.
I mean, yeah, there are, obviously it's tight. Within margin of error, you easily have the Welsh Workers' Party and the Conservatives, and the Welsh Liberal Democrats and Welsh Labour, who are all within margin of error of each other and could easily end up switching places respectively. So the Welsh Parliament is an extremely tight race as far as what are the potential coalitions to be made out of this. All that's really certain is that Plaid will end up in the middle of the road. It will be a battle between Laffer and the Welsh Liberal Democrats to decide who gets to be first minister, and the Welsh Workers' Party and Scottish Tories will fight over who gets to be opposition.
As we see helicopter scenes, the Senedd, and I think that's the Millennium Centre, whatever it's called, Millennium Stadium in the background there in Cardiff. Lovely shots there, lovely shots. We'll go back into the exit poll there, and that's us 10 minutes in now. Should we get some kind of results going? We've got some results.
I think we can get the first.
Might as well. We're fucking George. I meant what? First declaration is. Oh my god, I'm going to butcher this name. Oh god, no, Kalvin, it's yours.
Amafamana and Omar.
You nailed it. And
let's wait until the Irish get into the chat, and then we'll maybe discuss if I nailed that or not.
And talk us through this declaration here. Is this the previous result, or is this our
So
new...
this is the previous result. So last election, the seat was a nationalist plurality, with Sinn Féin taking 7 seats, the Ulster Workers' Party on 4, LPNI on 2, and the Ulster Unionist Party on 2. That meant the Nationalists had 7 seats and the Unionists 6.
Alright, well let's have our first result then. Here we go. So Sinn Féin on 4 seats with 27.7% of the vote. We've got the Ulster Workers' Party 25.1% with also 4 seats. And we've got the SDLP 27%, 4 seats. And we've got the other two there, 2 seats and 1 seat respectively. We've got Jimmy there topping from last. Remember how these graphics are done? It's done on the last election, so sometimes it might look a bit off in terms of scaling, but it's not. It's absolutely by design. And so here we go. Here's our first results. Nationalist plurality for...
It's a nationalist majority.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
With 8 seats for the nationalist. An interesting happening as well, being that Sinn Féin and the SDLP are divided only by 69 seats, 69 votes. Sorry, between the two of them. It's a very sort of tight race between the two nationalist parties.
There we go. And that's our first result in. Have we got any guests lined up? How are we doing for that? People being a little bit shy to come on the broadcast. Come on, get yourselves in the lobbies. We're waiting for you. We're waiting for you. So there we go. Nationalist majority from plurality. Yeah, you've now made that word unspeakable. Thank you. And that's a good showing for Sinn Féin and co. All right.
Yeah, I mean, they should be happy with that result.
Who have we got next?
Nationalist majority.
Our next declaration will be in Highlands and Islands when that comes up.
Yeah, and I think this is an excellent chance to bringing actually one of the candidates for Highlands and Islands.
Let's do it.
Yes, let's get in. Ewan.
I'm also running in Highlands and Islands, by the way, so you've got 2 candidates.
Hello!
Oh, hello!
Hello!
How are we?
I'm very good, thank you.
Now, Ewan, you're a member of Solidarity Plaid and SNP, you're running in Highlands and Islands, you're also running in South Wales Central.
Yes,
so
I am.
Tell us about this campaign for you in Highlands and Islands, how did it go?
Well, I did have a bit of trouble, I will admit. That was due to the rather unfortunate timing of this election with university and all that. But I think I got my points across. You know, I went into this election with a singular goal in mind, and that was fixing the funicular railway for Cairn Gorm. If I can get that piece of policy done, I will have fulfilled my job as an MSP.
Well, there you go.
So is that your only job as an MSP? Are you gonna fix the railway and then resign?
I promised the people of the Highlands and Islands that I would fix Cairn Gorm Railway.
Well, let's see how that
exactly
message.
What I will do.
Let's see how that message goes through.
It is like having Matt Drakeford in this channel.
Here's the results for Highlands and Islands. Model William with the Tories, 5% of the vote, 1 seat. We've got the SNP 20% on 2 seats. Scottish Liberal Democrats 36% up to 5 seats. Weebru on the New Britain side with 27.4%, 3 seats. And then we've got the Scottish Progressives there at the end with 11% and 1 seat.
Yeah, and I think a couple of things to be pointed is, first of all, the drop of 2 seats from the Conservatives.
Wow.
Taking a very rough ride, and in fact dropping to half of the Scottish Progressive vote, who you could argue perhaps have been slightly hard done by in only getting 1 seat. But the quite surprising decline of the Scottish, I say surprising, expected decline of the Scottish Conservatives, surprising in the sense that you wouldn't have expected it. But also, it's probably quite important to note as well, the turnout is not exactly the high.
No.
And again, this is an incredibly rural constituency. Polling stations can be quite difficult to access, so low turnout is to be expected. But
absolutely,
naturally, it's not something that we want.
Do you think there was any chance of Scottish Liberal Democrat Party members preventing people from being able to vote?
I would not think that the Scottish Liberal Democrats would do that.
And what are you referring to, Kalvin?
I may have my own personal gripes with the Liberal Democrats in Westminster, but I do not believe the Scottish branch would do such a thing.
No, never. It's very difficult. I think you make a good point there about the difficulty accessing polling. What will be our next declaration? It'll be Lower Strathclyde, another Scottish result. And we can see here, again, the previous results.
And we have another candidate to bring in, this time in the form of Zakian.
Zakian.
Ah, good old Zakian.
Almost leaked. Zakian.
I will say the next graphics are actually wrong.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Kalvin, do you mean to take a shot now?
So yeah, I have to take a shot of Bailey's. I should have mentioned that. I have Bailey's with me, and every time there is a mistake in the graphics, I will take a shot of Bailey's.
See, with me, instead of that, I've got chocolate bars. So every time that there's a wrong graphic, I eat a chocolate bar.
Hello, Zakian. You're on mute. You can unmute yourself. You're on.
And whilst
you're in the studio.
Zakian unmutes, let's see the
Oh,
result.
here we go.
Oh, hello. Just as you're in, let's get the result for Lower Strathclyde. Chi with 7% for the Scottish Tories, 1 seat. Zakian, you've got 2 seats with 17% of the vote. Frost Walker, 27%, 4 seats. This is wrong, says Weebru, but we can correct that. It's New Britain, 36. Are the percentages right, Kalvin, or is it just the names are wrong?
I think it's just the name.
Okay, good. So yeah, New Britain, 36.
I'm glad that you got my name right, at least.
Well, there we go. And we've got Scottish Progressives
how do you
on
feel
one.
about that result, Zakian?
Not too bad. I'll take it. Yeah, it's alright, I'd say.
Oh, he's got a great accent. He can stay. Good stuff. So yeah, look at that. And then New Britain doing very well there for Lower Strathclyde. And again, looking at comparisons from last time, again, the Conservatives are down. It seems like this is going to be a continuing theme throughout Scotland.
It is interesting. The SNP have technically lost a seat here because they also merged with Scottish Labour and are down one from. So to ask a question actually to Zakian, do you think that the merge with Scottish Labour has actually necessarily produced the kinds of fruits that you wanted, or do you think it was kind of only really a benefit for that period of the term?
I'd say it's, to be fair, I do feel it's probably gained us roughly 1 active member. So I don't think it's particularly a major thing. I think Slave were effectively dying, but I think it's going to be somewhat useful in the future, hopefully.
Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's been a while since they've merged, but we'll see if the fruits of the merge come to fruition, as you said, Kalvin. Next up, as we rattle through these results, will be South Wales West. And again, to remind viewers,
I'm going to be. I'll bring in a candidate for this.
Oh.
Sorry, we're gonna have to drop one of you two. Do either of you volunteer a sacrifice?
no, don't volunteer them. Just boot them out.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
There we go, and we'll bring in the Hlafur candidate,
Inna.
SDLP, Deputy Leader Ina Dorable.
And Labour Deputy Leader.
And Labour Deputy Leader.
Oh,
You're the Labour Deputy Leader.
all the
Welsh
positions.
Labour.
Welsh
Okay, well,
Labour.
I mean, it was Scottish Labour Deputy Leader for a while as well, so.
Ooh. So was I. Wait, no, I wasn't deputy leader. Anyway, this is the previous result. Got Conservatives on 3, Labour 3, Welsh Liberal Democrats 2, Plaid 2, etc. Let's get this result whilst you're here in South Wales, West Wales. William again, 1 seat for Welsh Tories. And you've got 31%, 4 seats. That's good showing for yourselves. Bailey, 23% for the Lib Dems. Carl for Plaid, 21%, 2 seats. And Eddie there for Welsh Workers' Party on 1 seat.
I think it's important to point out that the Welsh Conservatives are still ahead of the Welsh Workers' Party in this seat. So I think we have to, as I said, it is within the margin of error with the I forgot what it's called, exit poll. So we have to as well consider, what are the chances of it being perhaps more even than anticipated. In Scotland, the results seem to be lining up with what the exit poll suggests. And Northern Ireland, Lord knows, we've only had 1 result.
Big props, Inna, for your exit polls and your work. Hopefully they are all as accurate as they can be, but that's not what we're here for. We're not here for exit results, we're here for actual results. Our next one, Grampian. will be another Scottish result in the kind of Aberdeen, Greater Aberdeen area. Previously, the Conservatives have done great here. Reason for that being is Tommy, when he was there, hard focus on places like Aberdeen. So I think the Tories have got a lot of kind of residual support. Will New Britain start to claw that back from the Tories, who have yet to show up in Scotland? Let's find out. We've got Grampian results. And, well, as if I have a fortune teller glass ball in front of me. The Scottish Tories 1 seat, 6%, SNP 19%, 2 seats, Scottish Liberal Democrats 26 on 3 seats, Tommy with New Britain 36% on 5 seats, and Scottish Progressives Vincent on 11% and 1 seat.
That is a dire result, a dire result for the Scottish Conservatives, who have lost they've lost 3/4 of their seats in Grampian, and again finishing below the Scottish Progressives. We have the Scottish Liberals actually falling behind New Britain here. So we can already see playing out that this was going to be a very tight race.
And I mean, showings like that is why the exit poll is so starkly different. It's really about the campaign. Scotland has a lot of places that are kind of cities that are separated by lots of land, so it's getting local, it's getting with the people, it's getting in the local campaigns and the big issues in the area, something that Tommy's done in his old party and in his current party, and the rest of them, of course. Now, before we go on to the next result, Kalvin, why is the question I'm trying to answer? Why has voters turned away from the Scottish Conservatives?
I mean, I have my personal answer to this question, but I think that maybe we should get the opinion of a Scottish person on it, and so I'm gonna bring in the potential car bomb jokes. Let's bring in Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
You there, Jimmy? Thank God. Our next declaration will be...
He's just finishing off the deep fried Mars bar.
Oh God. Our next declaration will be down coastal, back in Northern Ireland. Again, previous results there was a unionist majority.
Yeah, I believe the only majority for any community in the last election. The Sinn Féin on 4 seats, the Ulster Workers' Party on 4 seats, LPNI on 3 seats, and the Ulster Unionist Party on 4 seats.
There we are, and as we enjoy the silence and the anticipation of Jimmy in the channel, we'll give you the result for Down Coastal, which is still a unionist majority. Sinn Féin 18%, 3 seats, Ulster Workers' Party 34%, 6 seats, always snigger and SDLP 21%, 3 seats, Tories 14, or I should say the UUP 14.8%, 2 seats, and Alliance on 1 seat. Jimmy, you with us?
Hello.
Oh, how are you doing?
I'm alright.
Are you buzzed to be here?
Not really.
Did you? Have you?
Is the result on?
The stream is on. You're live.
Oh, that's fine, man.
You were what place were you standing in again?
The first one.
Get him out! Get him out! Oh, for fuck's sake! Alright, our next result will be South Wales East. Oh, for fuck's sake!
I just realised this is a seat I'm running in. Do we have any of the candidates? We actually don't.
Black and tans. Okay, so South Wales East. We have the previous results here. You can see them for yourself. Labour 4, Con 3. We good to go for the next one? There are no candidates to bring in?
Yeah, I don't think there are any candidates to bring in.
South Wales East. Chi again, 13%, 2 seats. Welsh Labour, 31%, 4 seats. Frost Walker, 25%, 3 seats. Rich T Biscuit, on 18% with Plaid and 2 seats. And Kalvin on the 1 seat. Shocking result, Kalvin. Shocking.
To be fair, again, you're dealing with the Welsh Workers' Party, which is starting from a very small base at the end of the day.
This is true.
I think they'll be reasonably happy. I think the party will be reasonably happy with the result of sort of winning seats in all constituencies at the moment.
Yeah, do you know what? Seats are seats. It's about getting in the place first of all to kind of enact legislative change and kind of I suppose persuade the electorate. It's good, this system, for doing that, getting people in the door, and then they have to prove themselves, which is always something good for engagement. Let's jump straight on. Honestly, I'm not mucking about here. Oh, we've got the worst constituency in all of MHoC, the Southern Marches. Ugh, what a horrible name.
Another Tory stronghold.
Well, of course, with that name.
Let's have a look and see how well the Tories. You know what? I think we should bring in Scottish First Minister, Mr. Comped, which is a risk as well, but we live dangerously.
Comped's lovely. Comped would do anything, right? Question mark.
Have you seen some of the stuff that gets said in Maine? You just don't know what's coming out. With Jimmy, you at least know it's going to be something sectarian. With Comped, it could be fucking anything.
Main Comped is a different beast, you're absolutely right. Southern Marches, let's get the result whilst Comped unmutes. Scottish Tories 6% on one seat.
Jesus Christ.
SNP on 15%, 2 seats. Scottish Lib Dems 32% on 4 seats. New Britain, former New Britain leader, on 4 seats, 32%. And Muffin from Scottish Progressives on 1 seat. So pretty much neck and neck there between the Scottish Lib Dems and New Britain.
Fucking Minion is going to have an aneurysm if we keep on getting double the votes of the Tories and end up with the same amount of seats.
Well, that's the way we like it. No, of course, it's all very well calculated and triple checked by the presiding. What are they called? Returning officer. Mm-hmm.
The fancy electoral people, yeah.
Oh, here he is.
All have to calculate the votes and.
How are we, Comped?
Very well, very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You know, I've not been one to be intimately involved in Holyrood, but it seems like you've pulled a blinder here with the Scottish Lib Dems. You're set to be very much ahead in seats. You're necking Tory seats left and right. How are you feeling about things so far?
I can only hope that the votes, the exit polls rather, are going to be right, and that we end up being in the top side, so that I can continue my glorious reign, as we call it.
Glorious indeed. I would never.
Some people might call it a shit show, but what do they know?
All right.
Was I not supposed to say that?
It can't be any worse than Westminster at the minute.
Okay. Oh, come off it.
Well, let's see what our next declaration will be, Kalvin.
So the next declaration will be the Fife and the Forth Valley. So we're looking at again a very strong Conservative seat, but with decent showings from the other major players in Scottish politics at the minute. So let's take a look at this result, eh?
Yeah, let's bring it out. Here it is.
For running for the Scottish Conservatives, we have someone who walked out. We have the Scottish Tories on 1 seat. We have the SNP on 2 seats, 17.27% of the vote. 26.22% of the vote for the Scottish Liberal Democrats. Model Caesar of the New Britain on 30.36%, and Lightning Minion running actually winning more seats than the Scottish Tories for once, as they pick up 3 seats and 20.8% of the vote, finishing above the SNP. In fact,
they only needed 4 times the vote to get it.
We only needed to beat the Tories by 4 votes.
Wow, so there we are, another result. Fife and the Forth Valley previously was a kind of Scottish Greens. It was like Al, the former First Minister, used to hold that seat, if I remember correctly. It does...
Oh yeah, it was for a very long time a Scottish Green seat, and I believe he was First Minister for a while there.
Yep, and look at it, flipped upside down. You've got well and truly a unionist majority in the constituency overall. As we turn 8 o'clock, our next result will be Mid and West Wales.
Let's see if we've got any of the
I don't
candidates.
know anything about.
Comped just admitting
I have no idea what's going on here. Always good
No,
to.
let's bring in oh I see someone that I kind of want to bring in, but it's going to end poorly. Let's bring in someone different. Let's bring in Finn from the Welsh Workers' Party, Progressive Workers' Party, and as well the Ulster Workers' Party.
We're being overrun, Comped. We're outnumbered. Finn,
Hello, Finn.
Yeah.
how are you doing, Finn? Oh,
Silence. Let's get these results. let's see the Mid and West Wales results.
Silence. Mid and West Wales. We've got Skullduggery for the Welsh Conservatives, 10%, 1 seat. Avery, Welsh Labour, 23% on 3 seats. Rees, big Welsh figure, 32% on 4 seats. Victor, another huge Welsh figure for Plaid, 21% on 3 seats. And Muffin for the Welsh Workers' Party on 1 seat. Some big kickers in that seat there. Rees and Victor.
That's a fucking very heavy seat for leadership. That's 4 Welsh leaders in one seat.
Dear me. Are they all current leaders?
They're all current
I
leaders.
do believe.
Days.
Muffin, Victor, Rees, and Avery are all the leaders of their respective parties. So Mid and West Wales being the leaders' seat.
That's certainly different. I've never really seen that before. And
apparently Victor is the deputy leader, former leader. I'll take a shot for that. Although in my defence, Victor is eternally part of Plaid Cymru, so it's not necessarily a difficult mistake to make.
I mean, Victor is.
You can
leader and all,
excuse
but
yourself from that one. I mean, come on. The guy's, I don't even know how long, been involved in Welsh politics and that particular party leadership. So really, does it matter?
Yeah, lots of controversy with these figures. Rees for the Justice Devolution stuff, Victor for pioneering and pushing Welsh, Welsh nationalism, if you call it that. But here we go. We're cracking on. We're going on to our next result. Clyde Valley, another Scottish seat.
Oh, good.
Now, I'm trying to figure out if Clyde Valley is the one where we should play the another aerial head, or if it should be Glasgow. I should really know because I live here. Do you know what? We'll leave it for Glasgow. But this is the previous results. We've got Conservatives 3 seats, Lib Dems 3, New Britain not really one to pick up many seats here previously, but we've seen how things have changed over the course of the last term.
I think we take a look at the result.
Results for Clyde Valley.
We have Mr. Sectarian running for the Conservatives on 4.26%, 1 seat. Lefty Walrus in with the SNP, 20.94%, 2 seats. Political Bailey, 30.18%, 4 seats. Tom Barnaby, coalition leader, on 3 seats, and Thomas T 143, who I can confirm on behalf of the PWP was messaged 10 minutes before the end of campaigning and thrust materials to put out, picking up 3 seats, probably entirely because I just called him 4 times until eventually he came online.
Do you know, that's something that happened in the New Britain camp as well. I'm sure of it. But do you know what? That's a good result.
Let's ask Comped. What do you think of this result so far? What do you think of this result?
Well, realistically, you notice that, well, for example, the Liberal Democrats, basically not only across Scotland but into Wales even, were slightly edging out what a lot of people expected. Obviously, it was going to be a very tight race, but there really wasn't a lot of people who would say that we get the largest seats in so many different constituencies, and that largely due to some collapses in both the Scottish Conservatives and several of the other and even the SNP a little bit, that we would actually have better results than expected. I mean, obviously, we are technically still behind the New Britain when we're expected to get, I believe it's a 2-seat difference in our favour by the end of the night, but I do remain hopeful that, the night's early, so who knows.
Comped sounds like a James Bond villain. I just had to put that out there. But Kalvin, are we going to try Finn again?
So
whilst
does
I
your
do
mother
this?
from last night.
I think we can bring Finn back in,
Oh,
and I
pain.
think also we will bring in the potential gamer moment as well, and we'll trade Comped out for a
Potential
just,
gamer moment could be
Goodbye,
literally
lads.
anyone. Bye, Comped, for the roasting me.
Let's be honest, we all knew who I was talking about.
We've got Finn and Merrily in the studio. How are we doing, guys?
I'm doing well.
Hello, hello, hello. Finn, can you hear us?
Hello.
No. Not again.
I think we take a look at the next result.
Yeah, let's go. Belfast
Belfast
is our
are going.
next result.
Yeah, Belfast, a former very heavily divided seat along community lines, with Sinn Féin taking 6 seats, 37% in the last election, and the UWP and UUP trading evenly at 3 seats apiece, while LPNI sat on 23.43.
Our results here.
I am fairly pleased with that result
Yeah.
for the coalition.
Yeah, I mean, so have we got the results?
We do have the results. Unionist majority here.
A unionist majority as the Ulster Workers' Party gained 2 seats. The UUP losing 1, but off balanced by the fact it goes to coalition. Who surprisingly not that far ahead of Alliance, who have run quite a solid campaign actually so far in the seats where they
No,
stood.
yeah, I think Alliance should be congratulated because they've run a pretty good campaign across Northern Ireland. But I'm just pleased to see that we've won a seat in Belfast. I think that's a good result.
Absolutely. Alliance has always been one of those parties that I look from afar and I just go, "Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great. Keep it up." All right. So there we go. As Finn
And additionally, just to make a point,
Yeah.
Sinn Féin and SDLP trading evenly on seats.
Oh, that's an interesting point. It
Has also been pointed out that Alliance has already outperformed the exit poll.
That's another interesting point. So there we go. We can eliminate one of the wrong exit polls, as our next declaration will be in County Antrim. Previous result there was a unionist plurality. So there's
Obviously a very famously strong unionist seat.
Well,
And talking about unionism and a seat that's very strongly unionist, I think we'll bring in the SDLP deputy leader.
oh,
There we go, Ina.
Oh.
Welcome back.
look at this.
Hello.
So we now have the SDLP deputy leader, the UWP
Hello.
leader, and the coalition NI leader.
Wow, there we go.
Wow.
For this result, County Antrim, here comes the result. Rich T. Biscuit for Sinn Féin, 3 seats. Paradox with the Ulster Workers' Party, 35% on 5 seats. That's a great showing for them. And we've got the SDLP, 20%, 3 seats. The UUP, 13%, 2 seats. We've got Tom Barnaby again for Coalition on 1, and Wakey on 1 also for Alliance.
I mean, yeah, it's a good result. The UUP have already met the exit poll, so it would also be looking that the UUP would have to quite literally not win a single seat in the remaining 2 constituencies left to have hit the exit poll. Although again, SDLP and Sinn Féin still trading evenly.
It always feels like in Northern Ireland, if you say the right thing that resonates with the voters even once, it really can bolster your polling. There's such a, I don't want to say volatile because that makes it sound like I'm referencing something, but it's such an interesting area of the United
It
Kingdom.
does have quite an explosive political environment.
Absolutely.
now.
As you say, making the
Excuse
only
me.
car bomb joke after saying that Jimmy was going to make it.
Look, to be fair, he played "Come Out You Black and Tan," so it's not
Oh,
even.
Lord.
Oh,
I did say that I don't drive for a reason.
well, yeah, that was in the intro. Our next declaration is another one. We've got helicopter shots for this one, I'm pretty sure. Shout out merrily. This is Tayside. As we look at the previous results here, Conservatives 4, another one that they did very well in. Lib Dems 2, SNP 3, blah 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 blah. Let's have a look at. Where is it? the V and A, which is in
Hey, I am pretty sure I ran there. So.
Dundee. Here we go. Lovely little shots here of the newly
Wow.
constructed, probably not canon museum that came out during the time MHoC was a thing, but it's still a lovely little shot nonetheless on the lovely River Tay.
And oddly enough, this will be a seat in which Eindorable won, ran in, so we will be able to.
Wow.
We'll be able to. Yeah, that was just a slip. We'll be able to see just how they.
Just how badly I got destroyed.
Well, here comes the result. In Tayside, Tories 5.55% on one seat, in at 24% on 3 seats, puts you just ahead of the Scottish Liberal Democrats on 23% in 3 seats, and Seth 30% on 4 seats. Big
Fucking
lead.
fact that the Scottish Progressives are 3 times more votes and only get the second seat. Are you fucking kidding me?
A lovely thing you love to see as a New Britain member.
This is your brain on fucking FPTP.
Well, that's slightly
Yes, it is
slightly true.
proportional, but
I mean,
As we get some.
it is very funny that like the Tories plagiarized their manifesto and didn't campaign and still basically
I
get
honestly-
10, 11 seats.
We're gonna bring in a former Labour leader, a former Scottish Labour leader. We'll drag out merrily before something racist
Oh,
gets said.
goodbye.
We'll bring in some.
I hate the gays.
Oh Jesus!
Let's not talk about that. I think his name is Ghosty.
Yeah, Ghosty. Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Are we
We'll
good?
talk.
Excited to be here.
I need to get my Scottish accent on so people don't know I'm from Suffolk. One sec.
Oh no.
Scotland.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's like talking to Jimmy.
It's just no. As we move on, our next declaration will be South Wales Central, which we can show a lovely shot of Cardiff Castle.
I think this will be the most interesting seat of Wales, probably, because the Labour candidate famously did not campaign.
Oh, shots fired as the beautiful Cardiff Castle there in Cardiff. Oh, Jesus. And let's have a look here. Previous result, 3 for Tories, 4 for Labour, 2 for Welsh Liberal Democrats, 2 for Plaid, and 1 for the Welsh.
Because I don't want another person trying to murder me. We'll bring in the Plaid Cymru candidate here.
As our results are shown,
Mostly because Ewan has this thing about irrelevant rocks. So we'll bring in Ewan.
Wow.
Pav, 12%.
Hello, Ewan.
2
Hello.
seats. Hello, Udin. As we read out the results here, we've got Welsh Labour 33% 4 seats, Harold and the Welsh Liberal Democrats 25% 3 seats, Plaid 17% on 2 seats, not too bad, and some British Dude on 11% and 1 seat. That 1%.
The Tories
Oh,
fucking
0.2.
500 votes. Are you fucking serious?
Oh.
We beat them by double in Scotland, and we get fuck all, and then in Wales.
Well,
I really do think that the powers that be really, really have a hate boner for the WWP.
that's things we like to see. BNG gonna get a very, very packed inbox after this. Talk us
Yes.
through these
What's it-
results.
Right.
With my Labour hat on. Wonderful result. Winning here, as always.
Right. So, as the Plaid candidate, I can say that I'm not exactly disappointed with this result, considering the really, really inconvenient timing of this election. Like, I had 3 exams on the week the campaigning was. That was really not nice. But I retained all of my seats, and I think I even increased my vote share. I'm not sure how I did that, but I'm grateful for the people of South Wales Central for putting their trust in me, and for really putting their vote behind the Wales Act, as these pro-Wales Act parties have got a supermajority of the seats in South Wales Central. So thank you once again to the people of South Wales Central.
Strong words as we press on here. Our next result will be in Edinburgh. Lovely little shot there. I love these graphics, by the way. Shout out Kalvin. Look at this. Lovely. You could
I mean, a massive shout out to fucking Writhing, who basically built this entire thing whilst I was at fucking work.
Obviously, shout out to the staff here. They've done a really fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, everyone. Edinburgh, former seat for myself when I was Green Leader, First Minister.
When you were relevant.
When I was relevant, thank you. Tories then swept in after the fall of the Scottish Greens and really kind of got themselves a footing in there. But Liberal Democrats have kind of been clawing back. Let's see the result for Edinburgh as Tories go down to 1. SNP stay at 2, Wakey with the Scottish Liberal Democrats go up to 4, and Brandenburg, the New Britain leader, up to 4, and Eddie for the Scottish Progressives to 3.
I mean, a good result for the Scottish Progressives, a good result for the Scottish Liberals, and a good result for New Britain, honestly.
And also, it's an excellent result for the Scotnats. Because up until this point, we had only had 2-seat wins, and then scandalously we had a 3-seat win. We absolutely ruined our perfect streak, and I'm pleased to see we're back onto 2-seat wins. We're a 2-seat party anymore.
And an even larger win for the leader of the Scottish Conservatives, who managed to somehow scrape a seat despite the campaign literally being marred with plagiarism, with, well, not campaigning. And Lord knows what else, to be honest.
Ouch.
Sounds like you're just salty.
No, they're valid. Listen, they're valid points.
I am genuinely
you fail to understand. Politics is 90% plagiarism.
It's something that the SNP have done in prior elections years ago. It's certainly something.
I am aware of this. I am aware of this. I used to be leader of Plaid Cymru.
It will be something that will be forever in our politics. It's very important to point out. Currently, New Britain 2 seats ahead of the Scottish Liberal Democrats in Scotland, as our next declaration will be Lagan Valley and the Mournes.
It's Lagan Valley. I know that some people have been very excited to see this declaration. This is obviously the seat where the People Before Profit were running. A former nationalist plurality with Sinn Féin on 7 seats. Remembers the height of Sinn Féin political power when they were on the cusp of a majority.
Oh, I remember this. Good times.
Well, without further ado, our result for Lagan Valley and the Mournes, Sinn Féin on 4 seats, the Unionist Workers' Party also on 4, SDLP also on 4, and the UUP on 1, Coalition on 1, and People Before Profit also on 1, that newcomer that we were talking about before the result came in.
I think someone needs to take a shot. Someone got one of the party names wrong.
Oh, did I?
To be fair, he didn't. It's not wrong on the graphics. He's allowed slips of the tongue.
What did I say wrong? So I don't say it again.
You said Unionist Workers' Party.
Oh, of course, Ulster's Workers. That's apologies there. Apologies. But there we go. So big change from this seat.
PBP clawing a seat very narrowly. Arguably 9 nationalist seats, given the record of the PBP leader and their politics on the issue of the constitutional question. But I'm sure that Sinn Féin and the SDLP will be very happy with that result, especially the SDLP, who again still maintain a very close sort of an equal pairing with Sinn Féin.
A couple of very seasoned politicians in this seat, Umaton, Sapphire and Co. It's a very interesting seat, you're absolutely right.
Of course, Thomas as well.
Absolutely. Never to big up their own party there, Kalvin. Our next declaration will be in North Wales. As we get to, is this the last Welsh seat?
This will be the last Welsh seat, yes.
Well, there we go. It's been great.
This will be the last Welsh seat.
Previously, they had an other candidate. Who was that? 2.9%.
It was HK, I think.
Ah, interesting.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was Merrily. It was Merrily with the fucking retarded hospital thing.
Oh Jesus! It was neck and neck between the 3 or 4 big parties in this one. So this should be a very interesting seat.
Indeed.
Let's see that.
Well, let's get in the Plaid leader and the Plaid candidate for this.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Zakian.
This is a big seat.
Oh.
Final seat for Wales.
This is monumentous.
Are we going to? I'll do the results if you want.
Here we go.
Forward.
Here it comes.
So again, we have someone who walked out on one seat for the Scottish for the Welsh Conservative Party. Gregor the Beggar, now Labour leader on 3 seats. Rhea Wakey, I just realised this is a lot of leaders actually in this seat. Rhea Wakey for the Welsh Liberal Democrats, 4 seats. Zakian for Plaid Cymru on 3 seats, and the Welsh Workers' Party managed to get the 2 seats that they'd been aiming for in a seat, and take 13.56% of the vote.
Now, this is an incredibly interesting result, simply because, despite the Conservative Party literally walking out and only doing 1 post, they still managed to get more seats than the Welsh Workers' Party.
They also had like 4% more polling, but
I'm not sure how I'm meant to describe what I'm feeling right now, but I think it's some sort of Schadenfreude.
Well, I think one has to assume, right? So the Tories.
Do you want to move ahead? Do you want to move ahead a slide, just because it'll have the actual final result?
Yeah, let's do it. Whilst I make this point, here's the final results. I think with North Wales in that seat in particular, you have to think the previous result, the Welsh Tories had 4 seats, so there's going to be voters that just vote Tory because they've always voted Tory. That's why they're still getting seats with this current system. Yeah. But we see here the final result for the Senedd.
Welsh Conservatives on 7 seats, down 8. Welsh Labour up 18 seats, up 1. The Welsh Liberal Democrats 1 behind the Welsh Labour Party on 17 seats, gaining 5. Plaid Cymru pick up a seat and sit on 12, and the Welsh Workers' Party also pick up a seat and sit on
somehow
6.
Still below the Tories, despite the Tories doing literally nothing. But that point that I made there stands, and it's interesting as well. The turnout for the last 2 seats between Stormont and Wales was 60.60. Just a little bit of a fun quip there. Exactly the same turnout. So that's a Wales result.
Results, personally.
Rather impressive.
Yes, a national turnout of 57.69%, nice percent, and an increase of 1.81 points.
I would say that this certainly is. This has shown that the people of Wales do want Clonbaisir to continue. They've shown that they have faith in this government. They believe that the government is working for Wales and that they want this to continue going on so that we can deliver on this devolution, deliver on all the things that we want to do with new powers, and deliver for Cymru, primarily of all.
So I think we'll do a proper full trade out, because Merrily wants to try and defend their shit hospital idea, and I'll bring Finn back in so you actually have the chance.
Can I stay for this one? I want to stay for this one.
Yeah, we'll let you have.
Thank you.
Hello, it's the hospital person and Finn.
Hello.
Just hovering over the mute button quickly.
Yeah, well, as people get settled in, get their microphones plugged in, we will bring our next declaration from Glasgow City. Here's the previous results. Have a quick look at them before we have some lovely shots of the Finnieston Crane. The Clyde.
Oh, actually, sorry. I want to bring in more Finn because he hasn't had a.
That's fine. We've just got some shots here of Finnieston Crane. We've got the SSE Hydro, soon to be renamed, the Armadillo, and just about there is the Science Centre just across the way. A little bit difficult to see on that shot, but that's a lovely little pan there of
Muffin, you're in here.
Clyde. Hello, Muffin. And Merrily, how are we?
The Welsh Workers' Party leader.
Well, we saw turnout. We saw the support for the WWP up, which is good.
Absolutely.
Is it late at night? Are your parents asleep?
What? No, I'm
being directed to me.
I'm being mean. Right. Well, I mean, we have the next decoration up is the seat of Glasgow City, where I ran in Scotland after Minion kidnapped me and threw me into the back of a white van, with nothing but bottles of scotch. So do we want to take a look at the result?
Yeah, results for Glasgow City. Skullduggery, Tories on 1 seat. Sanic 25% with the SNP on 3. Rees 34%, 5 seats for the Scottish Liberal Democrats. Sapphire 19% on 3 seats.
I'm gonna have another fucking stroke at the fact that we got 2 cunting seats after fucking
managed. New Britain and the SNP neck and neck. Well, just slight polling differences, but still seat-wise neck and neck. Kalvin, yourself there on 2.
Yeah, I mean the Scottish Liberals have caught up to to New Britain on this last seat. Exactly what the result will be.
Again,
I'll say this is very good for the Scottish Nationalist Party as well.
I mean, for their campaign, absolutely. Oh God, what have I done?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Absolutely. But if you think previously, it was a seat that sometimes unionist parties wouldn't even run in because the Scottish Greens had such a stronghold. So it's just another typical showing of how different.
Power wanking over the Scottish Green Party.
I've got to stay relevant somehow, but it's just so interesting to see how massively the political scene in Holyrood has changed. It still blows my mind that New Britain Lib Dems are the big hitters in politics in Scotland when it's always been the likes of the SNP, the likes of the Greens, the likes of the Scottish Tories, and formerly the Classical Liberals. Very interesting. Our next result, I believe, is another Scottish result.
It's the final Scottish sheet, Stirlingshire and Upper Strathclyde. Do we want to show these results and it'll finally reveal?
Let's see it. Stirlingshire and Upper Strathclyde.
In first place, for the Scottish Conservatives, we have Butts for PM, 1 seat, 4.48%. HK Norman for the SNP, 18.74%. Rohanite did not leak seats and has picked up 5 seats for the Scottish Liberal Democrats. For 35.5%. New Britain with Din Cymru go down to 3 seats. 23.83. And finally, we have Model Avery for the Scottish Progressive Party on 17.8%, with the Scottish Liberals overtaking New Britain, having spent most of the night behind to take. And I wish to point out, and I'm going to say this because I can be mean to Ina sometime, that fucking exit poll was extremely fucking accurate.
1 seat difference.
1 seat was wrong in that.
Can I just say, for that last result, I think that pronunciation on Dean Cymru's name is worthy of a shot.
No.
Shut the fuck.
Never. That was a valiant attempt.
Let's bring in the exit pollster.
As you do. Let's go through
how do you feel about the fact that you got Scotland so fucking right?
That's a very interesting result. Now, just pipped at the post, New Britain there, Scottish Liberal Democrats on 40 seats, New Britain on 38, SNP on 22, down 14, Scottish Progressives up 9 on 19, and the Conservatives down 28 seats to 10. And you can see the turnout's down because probably plays a part because the Scottish Conservatives and the SNP never really turned out their candidates as much as the other parties. That's probably what's affected the turnout. Lots of voters confused at what the hell is going on. Why are these other parties, all of a sudden making big hits? That might have contributed to the turnout. Have we got Ina with us now?
I don't know. Ina does not seem to have put their mic.
Ina is muted.
Oh yeah, hello.
There we go. Ina, how do you feel? The bloody exit poll that you tried to reverse after we started. I mean, it was actually accurate.
Yeah, it seems that the specific pattern was off, but that the top line was correct, so that's good, I guess.
I mean, it was accurate down to a single seat.
It's pretty impressive, but we're not done there. We still have
the last Northern Irish.
Oh god.
Which is
Derry.
Londonderry and North Tyrone.
And before we give that result, you can have a look there at the previous seats. Let's have a look at Peace Bridge in Derry. Again, shout out to Merrily as this pans into Peace Bridge across the way. What a beautiful, weird, wonky looking rendition from Google Earth as it looks like it's twisted like a fucking helix. But still, that's a lovely
a unionist plurality in this seat originally. An extremely divided seat in terms of between nationalists and the unionists in the assembly, with SDLP deputy leader running here, the Plaid Cymru leader Zakian also running for Sinn Féin, and with myself Merrily both running for the UWP and CNI, and likely not a squirrel who wishes to express his admiration for defending the union no matter the cost, which was an interesting campaign post to read, but we'll just deal with that.
Captain, can I make you a deal?
Mm-hmm.
If you win Derry, I'll get you a new car.
Let's find out.
I win. Yeah, goes you.
Let's find out.
The results.
The final declaration. Londonderry. Zakian, 35.5%, 5 seats. Kalvin Loken, 31.30%, 5 seats. And Adorable, 14.9%, 2 seats. Likely not a squirrel, clearly picking up the former paramilitary vote with 10%, 2 seats. And of course, merrily winning the likely former DUP voters, 5.70%, 1 seat.
mLBC is nationalist propaganda confirmed. As we look at the final results for Stormont, Sinn Féin down 13 to 22, UWP on 29 up 9, SDLP up 3 to 19, the UUP on 11 down 1, Coalition Northern Ireland down 3 to 4, and the Alliance Party up 4 to 4, and People Before Profit getting their 1 seat as well.
Yeah, this was perhaps the one place where the exit poll was maybe, it very heavily oversold the SDLP and very heavily undersold the UUP.
Very, very interesting. On you go.
To be fair, the UUP didn't campaign in most places still. That's the main issue with
the final slide is a total tally of all the results, just so everyone can see what they all are.
Oh, beautiful.
It does look like that. Depending on how People Before Profit designates, it could either be completely hung, or it could be a unionist plurality.
Completely.
I mean, it's a unionist plurality regardless. The nationalists are on 41 seats, unionists on 44, with AP&I holding essentially the casting vote.
And
does this mean that we will have a less divided community?
And in Scotland, you see the final results in the middle there as well.
No.
What's up?
I think the main takeaway.
Yes.
I think the main takeaway of the election is that people don't care if you campaign.
Yeah, basically, I could have gone and fucking shagged some birds instead of fucking campaigning, and probably still picked up FM.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, you're here. You're never shagging any birds.
Campaigning for the last hour. I shouldn't have bothered.
You're never shagging birds if you're here.
So I mean, I wish to
would have done just as well.
I wish to say we've hit the hour mark for the stream.
There we go. Nice.
It was an hour's result stream.
Short and sweet for 3 countries' results. Just looking over, as we've just spoken about Stormont there, we've got the Scottish final results in the middle and the Welsh results at the bottom there. As we see, we've talked through these again. We'll just go over them once more.
I think BNG wants to get in. I think the Board Nerdy Gamer, former FM, longest serving First Minister in Northern Ireland history. I believe he wanted to get in. So we're just wait to see if he said he wanted to get in, so we can probably just delay for a little bit.
Yeah, great showing for the Scottish Progressives up 9. Great showing from Welsh Liberal Democrats up 5. I have a statement from.
And all things considered. You go first.
I have a statement from Welsh Liberal Democrats Rees.
I trust the payment went through correctly.
Here is the esteemed leader.
That did not work.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Here is our Lord above, BNG.
Ooh. Right, so I was leaving the stream there because I'm not going to listen to my own voice.
How are we?
Hello.
I'm good. I'm in here, so no one can yell at me in Maine. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the results ended up. I will point out now that the way I treated the Welsh Tories was practically vindictive on the calculator. Like I tried to kill them. And the calculator would not let me.
Well, you did a shit job at killing them, didn't you?
Yeah, shit job at that.
You should have killed them harder.
I gave them zeros across the board. It was actually distressing to me. Scottish Tories, not entirely happy with how that's shaped up either. My personal favourite campaign was the SDLP, because Ina Dorbo wrote all of her candidates' posts, and she's a very eloquent writer.
Yeah.
You wrote all of them?
I do remember being distinctly traumatized by one of Ina's posts.
Jesus.
I did not write all of them. I only wrote for Human and wrote one for Connor.
I just want to read a statement from our backroom, specifically Humanoid, who has a message to pass on. He wishes to say, Mr. Prime Minister, please, I've kept the Deputy First Ministership. Please let my family go so I can leave this sim.
And we have a statement from Reese.
I have a statement that I would...
we'll get Reese out of the way first since it's typed. Myself and the Welsh Liberal Democrats team are proud of the term we've just spent in government. Progressive, compassionate agenda was set out, and the Welsh people have responded to it. We will keep seeking to work across the political realm and continue the good work we have been doing. Let's stand by Wales. That was Reese there, candidate for Mid and West Wales.
And as Deputy First Minister.
Yes. Have we got a concession speech from Merrily? What's going on here?
Yes, I would like to make there was earlier on in the stream, I believe, there was quite a vile slur used against my plan for Ispiti Nicki Minaj at the last election, and so I would like to make a quick speech.
I'm going to hover over the mute button quick. It's going to only end well.
It's big face in the past. Thank you for throwing out. So many got to win in the we dip in the paddle phone. So can't so
absolutely not having fucking Merrily reading out fucking Nicki Minaj.
Oh no, Queen! I can't do it. There was an attempt. I registered that there was an attempt.
BNG, do you have
Queen
anything
Nicki,
you want to say?
dominant, prominent forever.
God, no. I was fairly happy with the election, to be honest. In fact, I enjoyed marking it more than the last one.
That is not going to remain for very long, is it?
No, I'm really looking forward to the next one.
I do have a question to ask you. What did you think of Squirrel's post?
Oh, God. Honestly, I was more troubled by Ina's.
Which ones?
Of all of them. And no, overall, I thought most candidates who actually did campaign had a fairly solid campaign. There wasn't anyone I was particularly unimpressed by.
There was some people I was particularly unimpressed by. Hi. I'd just like to give a shout out to the Scottish Conservatives who, without the Santalague system being used, if we used the D'Hondt method of proportional representation, I believe we'll be left on just one seat. So, cracking job, lads. Additionally, I want to point out the First Minister Comped. His campaign had 3 posts, none of which mentioned politics whatsoever. The words manifesto and First Minister were used, and that's about the extent of it, which I just thought was particularly impressive for a campaign post. Like, what the hell are you doing? And that's really all my notes. So congratulations to everyone.
And then obviously in Northern Ireland, if Howless managed to find where the line was, and now Squirrel is gonna start tiptoeing towards it to see just how much he can get away with.
Additionally,
I'd like to give a special shout out.
Northern Ireland, Jesus.
We have a message from Damien who says, "I pass my apology for having to read whatever I wrote." Thank you for that, Damien.
Damien wasn't as bad as he says he is. But my personal favourite, which I had to read, and a lot of effort went into it, was that the SDLP, and I believe it was on Umaton's campaign, completely redesigned the Northern Ireland railway system and provided a timetable for it.
What? Jesus.
God, and Bennett, you lot in the SDLP are fucking saddos.
Listen, that was a great.
Still got 3rd place.
That was a great election.
I'm just here to whinge about paramilitaries. I'll be honest.
I really.
Speaking of
Okay, PUV.
Let's let Weebru and let's really wrap this up because we've managed to spend 6 minutes talking shit.
Listen, I'm gonna wrap things up by saying that it was thoroughly enjoyed hosting a stream again. It was a great co-host, Kalvin, providing a lot of insight for places that I had no idea what I was talking about. So thank you for covering my ass and making me sound like I knew what I was talking about. Thank you to Merrily and Rethering in Ideology for their massive help in and yourself, Kalvin, for the graphics. And listen, have a good Christmas. See you guys later.
You too.
Merry
See you guys.
Christmas.
Thank you to BNG. Thank you to fucking everyone.